the chop shop. Yeah, it's lit in the chop shop. Team dials up in the drop top. They ain't based the debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the chop shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro, coming to you live to the chop shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the chop shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the chop shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the chop shop. We live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. We live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the chop shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, and my man Jim Hicks. Happy anniversary to you and Sandra over the weekend, man. I know we'll talk about that a little later. But it's a whole lot of stuff been happening in sports. But Jimmy, let me first say congratulations to Mayor Sylvester Turner for being reelected as our mayor. Congratulations. And Jimmy, I'd like to say the other night, that might have been the most, on Saturday night, that might have been the most emotional, heartfelt, Heisman acceptance speech I've ever heard. Congratulations to Joe Burrow, Robin, Jimmy, and family. And before we go any further, I'd like to say, man, y'all need to quit shopping online, man. Let me tell you why, Jimmy. Jimmy, riding through my neighborhood, don't too many cars come through here. Riding through my neighborhood, Jimmy, I see U-Haul trucks, budget rental car trucks, all kind of trucks delivering Amazon packages. Jimmy, they done run out of trucks. Y'all shopping too much when they got to go to Budget and rent a car from Budget. They got to go rent a truck from U-Haul. Y'all shopping too much, man. Cut it out. Jeff Bezos is rich enough. Cut it out and go to the store. So, and then I just want to get this preview. Shout out to all the Houston teams, Jimmy. I know you got all the information. The football teams that are traveling and going to Dallas for the state championship. And that's all I got right now. That's all I got right now till a little later. I got a couple of more things, but what you got today, Jim?
Oh, man, there's a lot of stuff. NFL football yesterday. A lot of the play. I guess it's a great day in the state of Texas. Cowboys won. Y'all better have won.
How about them Cowboys?
Texans won on the road. You know, two improbable feats were accomplished by both of those teams to keep their playoff and division championship hopes intact. Looks like the Texans pretty much clinched. All they have to do is pretty much win one game, because if the Texans win next week, it's a wrap, because they hold the tiebreaker over the Tennessee Titans. Then, if that's not enough, how about, remember I told you about winning? Remember a few years ago when we had Aaron Foster, right? Mm-hmm. And remember, Aaron Foster would sit out kind of like, it almost felt like what they call load management now. He would come up with it. You think back.
Jimmy, he was hurt, man.
I feel you. I say it felt like load management, what they do for load management. They come up with different injuries, and you would create different ones and say, well, my elbow, my hip, my knee, my, whatever. So, but remember, it was one spurt. I won't forget this because the brother of Ray Forsett was the backup running back for the Texans. Remember, Ray Forsett used to coach the famed high school team up in the DFW area, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, the Texans went on a run. Then all of a sudden, mysteriously and magically, Aaron Foster said he was healed. He wanted to play now because his running back was stealing some of the shine. So it takes me to this year. Show as you know what stank.
He better not be playing. He better not want to play.
As show as it stinks, then guess who says that they are planning to return to the Texans for the postseason?
Big sorry.
Big number 99. Number 99 for the Texans. I can't make this up. So they asked him now he's planning, and guess what? It would probably be the same thing if the Lakers make it to the playoffs and for Boogie Cousins. Because people realize the window's closing when you get in a certain age. But yes, indeed, J.J. Watt did not rule out a possible return from that pectoral muscle injury back at the end of October, saying he could return.
Week 17, I remember something about week 17.
Yeah, that's the last week. That's the last week of the season.
Yeah.
And so, you know how it goes. So that means it's very well possible you get that home game, right? And you come out the tunnel and give an extra boast of it. You know how it go. Fans root from a different place for certain players. It's just how it goes. I say it again. Fans root from a certain place from within their heart for certain players. Do you think about it like this? You remember the Jeremy Lin craze? Orientals. I had my dentist, Dr. Kim. I go to the dentist, boy, when Jeremy Lin was having this run, and boy, it seemed like it was he rooted for basketball from a different place, and he would root for James Harden. They like him, but they're not rooting from the depths of their heart. Chinese people rooted for Yao Ming with a whole different passion. Just like Australians would root for Patty Mills.
Yeah, they root for their people.
Simple.
We the only people that don't root for our people, but keep going.
Not with the same depth, not from the same
I'm
place.
talking about black folk. Black folk, we the only yeah.
Now, I tell you what, Alan. In basketball, I guess because it's so many and it's so abundant, it may not be the case. But I'm gonna tell you now, I see one exception. Okay. I see one and there have been a lot of exceptions in football. But Lamar Jackson, black folk root from a different place in their heart for this kid.
Oh yeah.
You know when it really hit me? After the game, Thursday night, when the other team, not one player.
That was unbelievable.
About 4 5 of them.
I ain't never seen that.
They had no shame in their game, lined up to get their jersey signed from this young boy. That's
I ain't never seen that. I ain't seen that. I ain't never seen nothing like that before. But Jimmy, this is the groupie society now. Back in the time when Warren Moon them, they probably wanted to, but these guys said, man, that man put his shoe. This groupie and celebrity craze society we in now, that alike determine whether or not you're worth. Jimmy, I can understand it. Now, this a different society now, man. You know, I'm one guy, and you probably the same way. I'm one guy who has never in my entire life asked a person for their autograph. Never, ever. And not to say I'm better than, first of all, I never wanted to bother the people, number one. But I just never see nobody worthy of me just writing a piece of paper that I'm going to throw away anyway. So I've never said, hey, man, hey, Mr. And Jimmy, you know who my hero was? My biggest hero. Go Google him, Larry Finch. He was the star basketball player at Memphis when I was a little boy. I promise you, Jimmy, if I wasn't thinking about no autograph then, because I guess we didn't think his kid. But if that was one person, maybe. But I never asked him for his autograph, and I went to see him play a million times. But I mean, this is a groupie society now, and I put it like this: celebrity crazed society now, and these people, they love their kid, man. Dude, I know some people in Baltimore, some well-to-do people. Instead of going to dude, they having watch parties at their mansions, at their big houses. They having watch parties. The affluent African Americans in Baltimore, because you know that's Chocolate City now. Because DC, some of the DC fans, Jimmy, are moving over to Baltimore now. You follow me? So it's a unique take, but you can finish. But I just wanted to add that to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if we go to the boom boom room, and of course Lionel Gar has a question for you, Howard. He says, so we question J.J. Watt for what he did with $32 million, but not ask Turner a question on what he's done with over $350 million.
Man, Lionel Gar been gone for a little while, and we don't know where he been. So I let him get away with it. I just said, stop it, Lionel. He been gone for a little while, Jimmy. So we don't know where he been, but, you know, I put it like this. I don't care what he done with it. I didn't want Tony Busby being the mayor. How about that? Now, hey, I'd rather have the devil that I do know than the devil that I don't. I'd rather have this guy than the Trump's guy. So guess what, Lionel? Now let's figure out what we did with the $350 million. It ain't my $350 million. You know, it's all of ours.
Well, I mean, it. One of the things that I can say now, the question is, if you voted, then make it be known out there. Yeah. I'm not asking you who you voted for.
Right.
If you did not vote at all,
don't say nothing.
And you live in whatever your city that you live in, and you did not vote, then what type of message are you sending to your kids, your family members, the people that look up to you, if you're not in partaking in the voting process? That's the thing.
Jimmy, I got to throw you under the bus for this one. Frey said Busby was on the Chop Shop. He wasn't. I didn't know invite from Robert Hatter. I didn't give him that invite. Jimmy, I'm gonna let Jimmy explain that one.
Well, that was. Now we had him on the Chop Shop was it earlier this year? Yeah, earlier this year he was on the Chop Shop, but that was before we knew the stance, and that came at the recommendation of Psych on Site, who was one of the sponsors, one of the underwriters for the Chop Shop at 102.5 FM. So Psych on Site, he was basically, because they had a deal to appear on the Chop Shop once every month or something like that. Well, their block that they had paid for, they wanted Tony Busby to appear in their block. So that's how that happened. It wasn't like,
okay, blame it on them then. Yeah.
And to put it like that is that even afterwards, Tony Busby extended an offer for the Chop Shop to come and get some money for him to advertise with. He turned it down. He didn't even go and do it. So and because that was just a stance that we just didn't want to take that type of money, that type of dirt on the money in regards to his stance. Once we learned a lot of the stance that he had in the community, don't have nothing against it, but when you going in the way that you tried to fight that election, and the way that, and that's what happens in politics. It's gonna get a little muddy, it does, but the way that it kind of felt like once the Donald Trump angle was inserted into the equation, that's when it was like, oh no, we can't have that. We don't know what the hell we're gonna expect if he wins, and it could be a whole coup to plant different guys, which it is, plant different people under his following a likeness in different cities. The next thing you know, it's a mass takeover. So that's the thing on that. But let's talk some more NFL talk. I mean, stuff yesterday, man, unbelievable with some of the games yesterday. The NFL season is indeed, it's very interesting coming down to the playoff race. A few teams clinched their wild card and their status on yesterday. and a few teams still have a week or two to go. Some of the results, some of the games of note, we mentioned, how about King Crab Leg?
Wow.
King Crab Leg, Jameis Winston.
You're going to lay off for him.
458 yards.
Yeah.
And a W.
Yes.
See, understand? See, the yards mean something, but when it's a W, without Mike Evans,
yeah,
who's gone for the rest of the season, because the Tampa Bay they can't have a chance to make the postseason. So a guy like King Crableg is playing for his job.
That's exactly.
He's auditioning, and he's the first player in the history of NFL to have back-to-back 450-yard games.
And Jimmy, he got 30 touchdowns, but he also got 24 interceptions.
Oh yeah, he throw that ball. He throw that ball to you.
Yeah, he just throw it. He throw it. But let me tell you something. Because you know he's much maligned by you. You call him. You don't even call the man by his name. You call him King Crab Legs. But let me tell you something, man. He is really now he's posturing himself for next year, saying, okay, if y'all gonna sign me to this franchise tag, you got to pay me $30 million, or somebody else to come pick me up. So I'm proud of him. I love, you got to understand how I am about black quarterbacks and them just getting the opportunity. I'm watching them, the old guards like Marlon Briscoe, they coming out talking about how these guys just, a lot of this stuff can happen, Jimmy. Jimmy, can you imagine how many Michael Vicks and Lamar Jacksons that's been passed up on?
True.
You following me? Because they didn't, what you say, your favorite word, given the opportunity. Say, they when you're given an opportunity, it can happen for you. So that's my thing. I'm just proud of those guys out there doing their thing when allowed the opportunity. What else you got?
And, guess what? And showing up, Jameis Winston is showing up and holding serve for a season that was definitely probably didn't quite meet expectations as a whole for Tampa Bay and their squad. But meanwhile, another game that was of note yesterday involved two teams that have no chance of making the playoffs, but the undercurrent was there. This was a game that was on the schedule that was highlighted before the season began. And this was
Cleveland?
That was Baker Mayfield versus Kyler Murray. You see, it might not mean nothing to the Cleveland fans now.
Yeah.
But listen what, Kyler Murray got the W. So this means he's 1-0 opposite Baker Mayfield.
I don't like to use that analogy, but I'll let you use it in this case.
He's 1-0 opposite him. Neither one of them play defense, but you measure versus when you get the W, he did not get the W. Now, if you want to go, first of all, Kyler Murray had a higher passer rating in this game.
Okay.
98 to a 90.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield had more passing yards, 247 to 219. However, look at the passing attempts. Baker Mayfield in this game, he threw the ball 30 for 43. 43 attempts. How many attempts did Kyler Murray have? 25.
Okay.
So this boy threw the ball 18 more times than Kyler Murray did.
And that's what took his passing rate down too now.
Yeah, that's exactly what took it down.
Yeah.
18 more passing attempts with only what? What's that? 27 more yards. 28. 28 more yards.
And another thing so unique about that matchup, Jimmy, you're matching up, because this don't happen that much. Two Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks going against each other. Number one, two guys, Heisman Trophy winners from Oklahoma, played against each other. So that added a little significance to the game. And the Kyler Murray came out on top. Played a better game. You're right. He got the win. And that's all that matters. He got the win.
And that's that. Because neither one of them is going. See, Cleveland can say, well, the game don't mean to us. We was trying other stuff. We ain't gonna make the playoffs anyway. Well, hell, Arizona can say the same thing.
Right.
We ain't make the playoffs either. We trying third stringers. We mixing stuff in, experimenting stuff, getting ready for next year. Same thing. Yeah. That was the Super Bowl for Kyler Murray.
Oh yes.
To be able to oust his former classmate.
And they good friends.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah. After the game, they might have sipped one before the game. Right. After the game as well. But in this right here, it gives it validates. Not to mention he's been validated already, but it helps the Kyler Murray argument that the comeback in years to come. You can say, well, look, he ain't never lost him. You know, he's outdueled Baker Mayfield, and the Cleveland, the biggest disappointment of the season, not for everybody, but the reason being because that's why I tell people all the time, pay attention. Think about how much hype was on the Cleveland Browns going into the season. How many people were predicted them to not just win the conference, but to go to the Super Bowl. And this team has been nothing less than a hot ass mess. They can't. Odell Beckham.
You talk bad.
I'm a football guy. I don't go to a lot of football games. Don't watch a lot of them. I may watch on the average 2 per week, right? On the average, that's maybe count like 2 quarters each, not the whole entire game. So for you in football enthusiasts, especially of the amateur level, can y'all tell me if y'all know a kid out there that's wearing some Odell Beckham Nike cleats, some shoes? Because Nike gave him the highest football package sponsorship of all of their athletes. Who is wearing, what kid from North Shore, Duncanville, Shadow Creek? Well, I know Shadow Creek wears Under Armour stuff, but still, do you know, can you let me know of a kid who's wearing Odell Beckham's cleats, his brand of Nikes? Remember, I'm just serious. Because that means the return on the investment is definitely not nowhere near expectations for them signing him. Speaking of Nike and signing, Nike signing Michael Vick. Mm-hmm. They're bringing Michael Vick back. Could there be a statement, Hatter, from Nike making because of all of the backlash from the Pro Bowl and which the commissioner has announced? You can get all the signatures you want. Michael Vick gonna still be the honorary captain at the Pro Bowl as announced. Over almost 500,000, well, more than 500,000 signatures for this guy.
Against him, right?
Against him.
Yeah.
They wanted him to not be held that title.
But Jimmy, I remember during that time when Michael Vick had did, whatever he did against them dogs. But I think it was an instance where a woman hung her baby. And he got more scrutiny than she did. And she hung a human being. And I know you pet lovers. I know some people that love their pets. But sometimes I think we just go a little too far. And, because I had a pet when I was younger. I don't have one now. But sometimes these people love their pets more than they respect human beings. And I really think that's wrong. And I just really think that's wrong. So, but yeah, Jimmy, it's weird. It's weird. And I looked at the Facebook feed. Mr. Weston wanted to give us a history lesson. Anthony Weston said, Mr. Hatter, Mr. Hicks, why has no one ever talked about Henry Jackson, the first black quarterback from the predominantly black college to be drafted by a professional football league? Awesome. I'm glad you told us about him. Now we know about him. The reason we don't talk about it, we didn't know about it. So guess what? Thank you so much. I put it on the screen. Now we know who he is. And now knowing me, I'm going to go figure out, I'm going to go study him a little bit more. So what else you got, Jim? What else we got?
I mean, and
what other
speaking
team?
of black, I like it. And thanks a bunch, of course, Anthony Weston. Speaking of black quarterbacks.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of black quarterbacks.
Uh-huh.
We talking about, because we knew we were definitely forewarned, or our antennas was raised going into the season based on the abundance of starting black quarterbacks in the NFL. There's never been this many. I think it was 8 or 9 going into the season.
When the season
starts. So it takes me back to wonder, like, your starting quarterbacks, black quarterbacks in the NFL. Who Who's some of your top ones?
Right? Oh, you know my number one,
So,
Russell Wilson.
If we think about, let's think during the show, we're gonna comprise a top 10
in history.
In history, NFL.
Oh, okay.
In NFL,
okay.
Top 10. Of course, Warren Moon, he's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right.
Joe Gilliam, he won a championship. He won a championship at Pittsburgh. Joe Gilliam got to be there. James Harris won a Super Bowl.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm right. Joe Gilliam. Who else you said?
James Harris.
James
Warren Moon didn't never win, but he got all the records.
Los Angeles, he played with the Rams. Now.
Yeah. Hold up. Sonya Howard said, why can't we just stick to this season, Jim?
Well, this season we've done that already. That'd be a good time. We can wait. How about we wait till after these next 2 games, because a guy like Dak Prescott could propel himself back into the starting 5.
Could I add something, Jimmy? Since we're talking about this subject, and I know me and you had, we had a little tryst about Russell Wilson, because you asked me why. You told me, you said, Robert, and I had a whole lot of stuff for you, but I'm finna add something. I'm just finna give you something right now, okay? Seattle Seahawks is now the number 1 seed in NFC right now. The number 1 seed, okay? Russell Wilson has really no help. I don't know if I don't know how they got to be the number 1 seed. Don't ask me about that. But Pro Football Focus, Jimmy, said they have the 31st best blocking line in the league. Ain't but 32 teams. They 31st. Their defense is 29th against the pass. Ain't but 32 teams. They're 29th in sacks and 27th in total defense and 21st in scoring defense. And their wide receivers, Jimmy, don't get me started. You can't name one. And the Seattle Seahawks are the number 1 seed in a tougher NFC division. Let me tell you something. They're number 1 for one reason, and it's that young man, Russell Wilson. And I love Lamar Jackson. He's fun, but he got more weapons than this guy out there. And and a lot of people don't do it because he's not flashy. He's not this, he's not that. But, Jimmy, I just gave you some numbers. Jimmy, that team he played, they the number 1 seed right now.
I got a question.
Yes.
Who's the number 1 seed in the AFC?
It should be Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. No. No. See, I never discounted Lamar Jackson. I'm not a guy that's going to discount another brother to raise another brother. I'm just raising this guy up.
Okay, but he was already raised.
But this guy might be the MVP. The guy you talking about. He don't need no raising up.
Season started. Russell Wilson.
No, we talking about right now.
Okay, but I'm saying, you're saying raise him up. When the season started, Russell Wilson was an MVP candidate before the season.
And guess what, Jimmy, from those numbers I just gave you, he still is to me because he's in a tougher division.
He's not the MVP right now.
I said to me, if I was voting.
Okay.
If I was voting, that's all I'm saying.
He outdued him head to head. That would give, if it was a tie, that would be the tiebreaker. If it was a tie, but it's not a tie.
Lamar Jackson is fun to watch and great to go. You can go ahead and vote for him, but he's got help everywhere. He got tight ends, offensive linemen, corners. He got everything. He got one of the top defenses in the league. I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out. Seattle is in the farthest part of the world that you can be in on the Pacific Northwest, right? I'm finished. Every team in LA on the West Coast, they dread coming to the East Coast and play. Whenever, I'm just telling you, because I know the players, they said, oh, man. And most of them have a losing record, the West Coast teams, when they go east. This young man I'm talking about, you talking about how much I like him so much? He got a 17-4 record. every time he go east, and he coming farther than anybody to go east. 17-4 record going in the east. Jimmy, all I'm telling you, because you don't know. I'm giving you information you have no clue about.
You are defending. Listen, understand something.
I'm not defending. Listen, stop. Jimmy, stop. Just slow down. Take a deep breath.
He's the best. How are you not listening? No. Russell Wilson is the best. But this year, that little boy with them plaques, he's the man.
I agree.
So that's what I'm saying. Russell Wilson needs no defending.
Yes, he does.
No, he don't.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
That's like, okay.
Hey,
okay.
I'm going to tell you why.
No.
I'm going to tell you why. Hold up, Jimmy, can I help you?
That's LeBron James versus the Greek Freak. LeBron James don't need no defending.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. No, but Jimmy, hold up, Jimmy. I haven't seen players stand in line for Russell to sign their autograph. I haven't seen that from Russell. That's where I'm coming from.
You haven't seen it from Russell?
I haven't seen people standing in line to watch Russell Wilson. I haven't seen they're standing for him to sign their jersey.
Go back to the Super Bowl after that Super Bowl victory.
No, but
and look at that game.
Jim, I'm telling you, it ain't been publicized like it is Lamar Jackson. But look, Lamar Jackson is my dude. I love his mama. I love what she stood for. She walked in there and told Bobby Petrino, mamas, I'm telling you, not all mamas, y'all can't do this now. She wasn't a PGW. Petrino came to her home. The college coach came to her home and said, I'm going to play your kid at quarterback. And that's it. And she told him, I don't want him playing her. So when he get up there, they start talking about whether or not he can return punts. She called him and said, look here, man, that ain't what you told me when you were in my living room. He come there to play basketball. He come there to play quarterback, or I am taking him out of the school. That's what the mama told the head coach at Louisville. So you got to understand, I got an affinity for this kid so much, but I just want people to recognize the greatness of over time of Russell Wilson. You got to understand, that's just the way I am, and that's just the way I built. That's the way my mama taught me how to do it. I'm not going to slight the other guy. It's just, to me, 1A, 1B this year. So it's all good. It's all good.
And so once again, we're talking black quarterbacks. I'm giving you guys, we're still starting the top 10. Top 10. We mentioned Warren Moon. We mentioned Randall Cunningham.
Yeah.
Mentioned Steve Al McNabb.
Oh, right? Yes.
With over, 30,000 yards, over 170 touchdowns for McNabb.
Donovan McNabb, Jimmy. Donovan McNabb.
Would he make the top 10?
He got to,
we put him down.
He went to the Super Bowl. He didn't win it, but he got there.
Okay, hold on. Would he make the top 10? Michael Vick.
Oh, heck yes.
The first quarterback with 1,000 yards rushing.
Heck yes. You got to have Mike. His record
recently failed for a single season.
You got to have Mike.
Automatic, right?
You got to have Mike.
What about Doug Williams? Another Grammy.
Oh, yeah, Doug Williams won the Super Bowl, Jimmy.
Washington Redskins. Grammy.
Yes.
So, Doug Williams, would he get top 10? Absolutely. Is he a no-brainer for the top 10?
No-brainer.
Okay. No-brainer. So right now, we got 5 no-brainers.
And guess what school he went to, Jim?
Doug went from Eunice, Louisiana somewhere.
But he went to Grambling, baby.
I just said Grambling 3 times, Hannah.
I know, but I said what school he go to. You talking about Mississippi, whatever you said.
I said Grambling 3 times.
Okay, but I said what school he went to.
And I'm saying you didn't hear me. Right? I said it 3 times.
I don't never hear you. Then. Okay, look, Jeremy Davis. Look what Jeremy Davis wrote on the screen. Cam Newton, you got to put him in there. He went to the Super Bowl.
Cam, okay, wait a minute. Oh. Now, Cam Newton. Now, I got one that is a name that Anthony Weston. You gave us a shot of black history. Let me give you one. We think of black quarterbacks. This is going to be the least known.
You better not say Fitzpatrick.
The least known. But he should be a top 10.
Who?
Let me tell you why. For his quarterbacks. This name is Marlon Briscoe.
Yeah, I mentioned his name earlier. You didn't say nothing about it.
And he mentioned Marlon Briscoe name. Right?
Yes, I did.
Marlon Briscoe. Mm-hmm. I remember back in the days, remember now, he played as a rookie with the Denver Broncos. Mm-hmm. This dude threw for 14 touchdowns as a rookie.
Jim, did he win? Did he win?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They moved him to wide receiver.
Yes.
And he made the Pro Bowl as a wide receiver.
So, Jimmy, so that don't count.
No. 14 touchdowns as a rookie.
Jimmy, but his body of work that caught Jimmy. You're saying an all-time great. So you give him 14 touchdowns in 1 year, he's an all-time great. You got to be out your mind, man. Just say he's a sentimental favorite because of you that went and pulled up that. Okay, but he's not a quarterback. If he changed positions, he's not a quarterback. Warren Moon told him, I'm going to Canada. I'm a quarterback.
Warren Moon played the bulk of his career in Canada. He
had
over 30,000 yards.
Yes,
over
because he didn't get a chance over here. Marlon Briscoe got a chance, and guess what? And he allowed them to change it. So we can't put him, Cordell Stewart. Nah. Did they win?
They won.
Did they go to the Super Bowl?
I think they went. I don't think they won, but we can go and look it up.
Most time when now we can't put Vince Young on there. I want to put him on there for a college career, but we can't put Vince Young on there. But Vince did go to Super Bowl, didn't he? No, he didn't. No, Steve McNair went. Steve
McNair went. They got to the 1 yard line.
You're right.
That was remember now. That was the year against the Rams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But that's an interesting topic, though. We'll go there. We'll go there this week. Let's bring up. But Jimmy, them all the names right there. Jimmy, you got to realize it's not that many of us now.
Do you realize that Michael Vick only has? How about this stat?
Dante Culpepper.
This will put stuff in perspective. Mm-hmm. Now, this season alone, I think Lamar Jackson has about 2,900 yards passing. I don't have it in front of me right now. Right? He has over 1,000 yards rushing. Mm-hmm. So let's say 28 yards passing. So that means he's going to end with over 3,000 yards passing. Lamar Jackson, easy. Mm-hmm. So if you multiply that, let's think about that. Hold that number in your mind, 3,000. In Michael Vick's career, he doesn't have 11,000 yards passing. Total.
In his whole
his career.
Okay.
He don't have over 11,000 yards passing for the entire career.
And the young fella got 3,000 this year.
And Lamar has 3,000 this year and count. So if you multiply that, think about how soon it would be based on this pace that he's going. You know, you only can project based on what you have to deal with. How great Lamar Jackson has a chance to be.
Rodney Peete was pretty good.
Let me add Rodney Peete to the list.
And you got to have Dante Culpepper too.
So you said Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, you got to
Culpepper. Somebody gonna get cut now by the end.
Somebody gonna get their head cut off now. So
now, is it fair? We got to put some stipulation because Lamar Jackson, we don't know. He could regress. It's NFL, man. So is it fair to
Jimmy? I didn't mean to. I had to fact check you because I know somebody was gonna mess with you. He got 22,464 passing yards.
So it's 2,200 yards.
22,000.
Who that?
Michael Vick. He got 22,464 passing yards.
Oh, my numbers must have come from before.
Yeah, you didn't count them all up. That's all.
The break or after the break.
Yeah, you didn't count them all up. Cause you played too many years. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, I got you. You probably did it around one of them breaks. Yeah. Got, and I thought that was low, but I just wanted to look at it before I know somebody was gonna be checking it on it. is 22,464.
Michael Vick has 22,000 passing yards.
Passing yards, yes.
How many rushing yards Michael Vick had?
He had 6,109.
6,000. So right now, young fella, LJ LaPlatz, he's at what, 1,100? He's at 11. What are you at right now?
I don't know. I hadn't looked at it. I
know he has over 1,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I got 1,103.
Right.
That's
and right? Lionel Gard, you're a little late. You see Lionel Gard already popped on the screen and talking about he had way over. And I thought of that. I just had to look before I jumped out. But you probably look at it either before or after.
Yeah, it was one of the breaks.
Yeah.
One of the breaks. I already know right then when you first said that's
no, it's good.
It was one of the breaks.
We good.
One of the breaks.
We good.
It was either before or after. But understand that my thing is showing just how
he got a long way to go, Jim. Now, when you put that in perspective,
I say he has a chance to be, but then it also there's a lot of players. We thought after we saw Cam Newton after 2 years, we thought Cam Newton was going to set the world on fire. And you see how once you get that
he just got hurt though, Jim. He got hurt.
But that comes with it.
Yeah,
what quarterback ain't got hurt?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That comes with it.
You're right.
Don't y'all realize sooner or later, and I said it last week, Lamar Jackson's going to be coming around the corner in one of those runs, and somebody going to get the right lick on it. Just watch how the narrative changes once he gets popped. Now, he's gotten hit a lot of times, but he's bounced back up. He took one on Sunday. It was like, woo. But, I mean, not on Sunday, on Thursday. So this the thing, this young man, born his health stays intact, Lamar Jackson has a chance to really make this game fun. And the longer that he lasts, the more opportunities that he's going to open up for the next Lamar Jackson. I'm looking at the little kid was bringing me. I'm looking at the young fella, last name Davis, the star quarterback for North Shore High School. Right? Well, North Shore High School played and they won this weekend over Austin Lake Travis to advance to their second straight state championship game. They would face Duncanville. Well, this kid Davis from North Shore High School, if you've never seen him play, which I've watched him play about 4 times, I mean, he's just fun to watch because, once again, he's one of those quarterbacks that will take off and that could easily lead the game in rushing and throwing every game. Thurgood Marshall has one. This little kid, Malik Hornsby at Thurgood Marshall High School.
Oh, yeah, he can play.
Here, he has size. He can sling that rock. And he can get up there and run and get out there. Kind of has a body. He's not as tall as Vince Young was in high school, but he has that frame. And when he runs, it's like he has a separate gear. If he gets out in the flat on some of those against younger defenders. When I say younger, I mean smaller defenders.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Drones can run.
Unbelievable. That's my man right there.
So what happens is, you look at the little kid at University of Houston right now. He took a lot of flack. Derek King. He was the starting quarterback at U of H. Played a few games and said, you know what the hell with this? I'm going to sit it out. I'm a red shirt. We done lost 2-3 games. What I came here for, that's out the window. I'm gonna keep this year intact. So look at now, Derek King. If he comes back next year and refurbished and refined and improved
and healthy,
the door could be open for him. Looking at, because his size is the same as he's a little bit taller than Kyler Murray.
But Kyler Murray is different, Jim. Kyler Murray is a cheat code. Derek King is great, is good, but Kyler Murray is.
No, I'm talking about size.
Oh, you're talking about size. Okay. But Jimmy, speaking of U of H quarterbacks, you remember Greg Ward? The quarterback before this guy, Greg Ward?
Oh, yeah. Where's he now?
You know he couldn't hold back his emotions yesterday after catching a touchdown. Jimmy, he's a wide receiver now. He was a quarterback at U of H, 2016. He got cut in training camp 3 years in a row, Jimmy. Played in the AAF, Then he had 7 catches and his first career touchdown yesterday. Man, I was so happy. He got on his knees and thanked the man above. I'm so think about that, Jimmy. College quarterback got cut training camp 3 years in a row, played in the AAF, and then put himself in yesterday for the Philadelphia Eagles, I think. He caught a touchdown pass in a win. Unbelievable, y'all. I love it. I love it. I mean, these the kind of stories I love. Now, what else you got?
And one of the things, thanks, Anthony Fall provided us with the intel on some news that's sad. We're speaking of black quarterbacks today on the Chop Shop. Vincent Young, a lot of his memorabilia was in a storage that somebody failed to maintain the payments on. And that storage has been auctioned off. You know, you auction it for those storages. You don't get to see everything that's inside of it. It's kind of like you're playing lotto. You know, they'll raise the door up and raise it back down. And when you see something in there and you bid on those things. And a lot of his memorabilia, that's what storage, a lot of his awards. And guess what? It's gone. That stuff on eBay right now. Somebody bought that thing. I mean, can we get some Vincent Young news that warms the heart instead of, I mean, can somebody let us know when Vincent Young gonna grab, it's Christmas time. Vincent, if you're listening right now, go over to the Galleria, get some gift cards or something, $10, I don't care. They don't know how much on the gift cards they go try to use it. Or I don't know. Maybe no, maybe so. What? I mean, go kiss some babies or something. Do something to get it got to have something to get his name. Every time we hear Vincent Young news, it's something that's frustrating or disappointing or frowning. It ain't supposed to be like that. It ain't supposed to be like that. Not in the city that you're from. He's changed agents. He's changed marketing people. But what hadn't changed is responsibilities in ways like that. Come on, man. Come on. It got to be a better way than that. Thanks a bunch, Anthony Fall for providing that intel with us, man. And we go to the Boom Boom Room right now.
And Jimmy, it's you mentioned that, right? So now, since you mentioned that, I'm gonna segue into this because, you know, ex-Redskins star Clint Portis, he and a few other NFL big stars, including Clint Portis, are facing serious prison time. They can be locked up for more than 20 years. Some officials say they stole millions of dollars from a plan that was supposed to go and help other NFL players pay their medical bills. And it's called the Gene Upshaw benefit thing. This is crazy because this is like a major federal investigation, and these guys were being accused of participating in, right? So these guys we're talking about, Clint Portis made over $43 million in his NFL career, Jimmy. Carlos Rogers made over $35,000. I knew all these kids. Corey Buckhalter, who was an excellent running back.
Oh, you say 35,000. You got
35 million. I'm sorry. Carlos Rogers, I'm dyslexic. Carlos Rogers had made over 35 million. Corey Buckhalter, he played with the Philadelphia Eagles. These guys were accused of participating in this scheme from June 2017 to December 2018. Where they essentially filed fake medical claims to get payouts from the Gene Upshaw NFL player plan, right? I'm putting some of this context because y'all talking about Vince Young and not having. So the officials said they stole around $3.4 million in payouts. That's to help. It was supposed to go to help other guys with their players with their injuries. You know, like they said, hey, this cryo chamber costs $40,000 he needed, and they never get it. They just get the money. You follow me? Because we all know that football players, when they finish, they get banged up, Jimmy. So this money was set aside to help them with their medical costs. That, you know, there are two other names that people that got caught up in the crosshairs. Joe Horn, formerly of the New Orleans Saints, the wide receiver, and Rashay Cardwell. And it was about 12 players. And Jimmy, I'm torn about this because on one hand, the NFL has so much money. And how could they get upset with these guys taking this little money? But
no. It's the medical industry as well. That's
no. NFL set this money apart, Jim. It was the NFL. This the Gene Upshaw Fund. This ain't got nothing to do with this NFL fund this. Just like the NBA players fund the pension plan for the older retired players and help them with their medical stuff. This is being funded by the NFL. The Gene Upshaw. This ain't the federal government's funding. This the Gene Upshaw what they call it, the Gene Upshaw. I saw the thing. It's different. I thought it was that too, but it's the Gene Upshaw fund. And all I'm saying was, I go back.
No. What I'm saying is the medical industry is frustrating for them because of the fact that in this case, several of those co-defendants were accused of fabricating letters from the company.
Yes, of course. Okay, I got you.
I'm pissed off because now you sitting there pulling us in this like we in, you know, and you faking you fraudulizing
Jim. There's a lot of people that ain't football players and not their color doing this same thing right now as we speak. Okay, medical fraud. We know some people that's in trouble with this same situation. But what I like people to know though is, why would the players have to do this when they made so much money? Why should Vince Young, see, I'm bringing it full circle, Jimmy. Why does Vince Young have to do this after he made so much money? How do you blow $43 million, Jimmy? Portis filed for bankruptcy not too long ago. And Jimmy, in one of his creditors, you know, he had a lot of creditors. One of his creditors was his mama. He owed his mama $500,000. I don't know where his mama got the $500,000 from, but one of his creditors was the mom. And maybe he put her house up that he gave her. I don't know. But then, Jimmy, he owed the MGM Grand a lot of money at some point. So, and people, I keep adding this stat. This is why it's so important to have the right people in your corner. The stat shows that NFL players, more than any players, go broke, especially within 4 or 5 years of not being in the league. Money management just not there, and it's just hard for me to be outraged about it because a lot of those other players, Jimmy, that they defrauded this money from, they need these funds. A lot of them players didn't make $43 million. You follow me? A lot of them players didn't make $35 million. You know, people just think when they see these contracts on let's say you made $45 million. Let's say you made $40 million. Okay, that means you're in the 40% tax bracket. So 40% of that is gone anyway. Then you got to pay your tax. Then you got to pay your agent. Then you got a lot of other bills. And Jimmy, I don't know if I sent you some information the other day. Yes, I did. And I even tweeted. Y'all know I don't tweet much. So when I tweet, y'all know it's important. I retweeted. It's an intervention got to be done for this guy, Antonio Brown. You know, Jimmy, they show up to his house, and we're still talking about football. They show up to his house, the police, and he's in a gated community, and I guess his baby mom showing up, and he talking crazy to the police. And Jimmy, you know what I did, and I had to, y'all. I just want y'all to not hear
she
this.
blocked at the gate. You're going to continue to bring her over here every day. This your second day her here.
And I want y'all to hear this.
Crib, she blocked at the gate.
Man, this is the first time I'm here. So.
This is the second time these people was here, bro.
I don't know if it's been popped up yet.
Little boys, her dealership.
So what about my car, though, bro? How could she leave with the car?
I'm gonna go get more.
No, bro. Get the kids' clothes. Ain't no more, bro. Get them the fuck out of here. What you mean? Bro, get them the fuck out of here, bro. Hey, sir, what about the car she's driving? That's my car.
Listen, I already told you.
What you told me?
Okay.
Ain't no Mexican. She don't stay here. She blocked by the gate. You keep letting her in. You keep bringing her in.
But reverse your car goes. What?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Bitch ass niggas. Hey, listen. You white police gotta stop doing that. You can't be letting these people just come in on my privacy. She don't supposed to be here. Fucking police don't help nobody, man. They the fucking police. Fucking police about to get justice. They don't help no fucking body. Fuck the police. Pussies.
Wow. Jimmy, I had to play that. I'm sorry. I had to play that. I mean, I know it stops probably still going on the screen. Y'all, I don't even know where to go from after that one. You know, I just showed these the decisions that these guys are making. This the guy, you know, who he's a football player also, and y'all know this expansive mansion. If you look at the ceiling, you already know where he's living, and if you see the car that was driving up, Jimmy, his baby mom, I guess she was in one of his cars. It happened to be a Bottega, Bentley SUV, $200,000 car, and you know he's talking about get the kids' clothes. I just don't like the way he said get the kids' clothes and get the F out of there and to the post. Those the kind of situations that, and these kind of decisions that happens, guys. That if we don't have social media, we wouldn't know. You know, and Vince Young, and you know we started on Vince Young. Then we talked about Clinton Portis. This real young men. If you got a football player, Kevin Jones, if your son happened to make it pro, make sure the Waddle kid, Jimmy. I know a lot of people is a buzzers circling around that kid. Make sure, and I promise, Jimmy, a lot of the Alabama guys. A lot of those guys always retire in bad situations. But Jimmy, make sure they get around people that has done it. Not people who telling you they can do it. Tell them to get. It don't have to be me. It don't have to be nobody I know. Just make sure they have to get around. And if Mr. Waddle and his family need any help, I am there for them to help. So. Jimmy, it shouldn't be, we shouldn't have to do mail insurance fraud after making $45 million a year. We just don't. And guess what? I know the people that was representing and handling the money of Clinton Portis. This the same guy. Look him up. Google Clinton Portis, B. Scott, Anthony Weston. This was the guy who was sitting outside of these guys' office with a pistol in his hand, want to kill somebody because they mismanaged his money, Jimmy. So those the kind of stuff those are the things that are going on in our community. These athletes are these black athletes, and I done told y'all, Jimmy, they are our natural resources. We got to look out for them, even if they ain't looking out for themselves. We got to look out for them. So that's all I had to say about it, man. It's, you know, that's a passion for mine. It's no excuse for a black athlete to go broke. No more. As of today, There's no excuse for this kind of stuff to be happening to the Vince Youngs of the world. There's no excuse. Jimmy?
I mean, and the thing is, first we go to the Boomer Room and Angel says, okay, so what's the solution to change, help change these outcomes?
First of all, the Players Association, okay, let me help you. And I just don't want to give this information out there to people who ain't going to do nothing with it. I'm not, Jimmy, I don't like giving this out. I'm finna help y'all out. If you're asking these damn questions, you better take action on them. Number one, the people that represented Clint Portis, they were certified by the Players Association. So all the time, you can't not trust the Players Association. And I know you said, but Robert, let me tell you something. Angel Badero. Most banks, I don't know what banks you bank at, most banks have a private client, special client list, or staff. Okay? First of all, they need to always talk to financial people. Talk to banks, because guess what? If I'm talking to a bank, I got somebody I can sue to get my money back. Okay? I got somebody I can sue to get my money back. There are, always remember this, Jimmy, and I want you to hear this. Agents are not supposed to handle your money. Agents are contract advisors. I'm giving y'all this damn information. Angel, you've been on this show for years, and I done gave this damn information once, and I hate to have to give it again. Go back and get the old videos. Agents do not handle players' money. You have a financial person, business manager. Those people actually handle your money. Okay? They handle your money. And every quarter, young men, get with your financial advisor and see where your money is. You can't go put this money all in a savings account. So guess what? You got to depend on money managers to put your money in places. It's just a whole lot. It's a whole, Jimmy. Always, remember I told you something? I always say this, you know a man, look at his history. When you go and research these guys, see, our problem is, Angel, we as African Americans, athletes, they go with the person that gives them some money up front. They ain't thinking about your track record. They just want the person that gives you money up front. Because you know they think the golden rule, he who has the gold rules. If Jimmy Hicks ain't never represent a Negro in his life, if Jimmy give one of them enough money and take care of enough situation and give him enough money, he ain't got a clue about how to do this thing. Guess what? They gonna follow the money. When we learned, that's why I was upset when Jimmy said the girl, she showed her ass the other day because it's popularity, Lizzo, she was doing it for the money. You can't sell your soul for the money, young people. So my advice is to seek out, especially, because let me tell y'all something. Your finances is more important. I'm going to give y'all a secret that a lot of agents won't tell you. Your financial guy is a lot more important than me. Because I'm going to get you the money, but he going to show you how to keep it. And I will assist you so we can watch him and make sure they putting their money in the right place. You always have to have check and balances. You can't let your mama handle your money. I told y'all a story. I had a kid that mama handled the money and $5 million was missing. Not $550,000, not $5,000, $5 million was unaccounted for, and he was going to have a tax liability that's going to tear his behind up as long as we didn't take care of it right now. You know how some people forget about that one and just let it kick the can down the road, and then the next thing you know, you're like Sammy Davis Jr., they coming to your house and getting everything. You got to have a great financial person, and you got to get a great contract advisor. That not just the guy that just pay you some money up front. I told y'all the story about a guy in the NBA draft this year. They went with the guy that gave them the money. They said, Robert, we like you, but this man gave me all this money. They having problems in their situation right now, and the guy ain't got out of his rookie year. We just got to come, Jimmy. We got to hate talking about this, but we got to put ourselves in a position that we should never. I tell you what, if you watching the Chop Shop, you might not have my number. You got my email address, Chop Shop. There should never be another player come out of Houston, Texas, that this happened to again. I don't have to represent him. I will steer you in the right direction. You don't have to like me. I just don't want another Vince Young can happen where Jimmy Hicks can get on here and say he can't even pay for his storage to get his memorabilia out. I don't never want that to happen. Y'all got to hear my heart on this one. I hate talking about what I do and what I do every day on this show. But I'm tired of my black. What's the hell, Houston? We getting this wealth and we giving it right back. That's $43 million is generational wealth. $35 million is generational wealth. If we put it in the right place, we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to. Now, we're hollering about reparations. Dude, they paying the hell of our athletes right now. They even right now, Jimmy, they have, guess who is about to unionize right now? The G League is about to unionize right now for more money but what the hell is making more money if you're going to just spend it on Louis Vuitton and make Bernard Arnault rich or Jeff Bezos rich? Two of the richest men in the world. And I'm telling you, the Amazon trucks, they don't run out of trucks. Y'all spending so much money. So that is not how much money you make, y'all. It's how much money you retain. And there's no reason, and I'm going to put this mandate. There's no reason for an athlete to come out of this city and to ever be broke again. Or at the sound of our voice, to ever be broke again. And they ain't got to pay me nothing. I'm going to give them this. You know how people talking about they don't give it for free? Dude, all I want, I would love for Vince Young to be in power right now. Because I wanted to represent Vince Young. I'm going to tell y'all, it's personal to me. I had a meeting with him and his uncle. But somebody had a better deal. They told him something slicker. And they represented him. Look at his life. And I'm not talking about the people. I just know his life. He should have ran this city. Mattress Mac is his best. He loved Vince Young. Mattress Mac run this city. Vince Young should have been the guy next to him right now and running this city. But when we give our power away to people who don't think about our community, quit giving our power away. There's no excuse, Jimmy. Take it, Jimmy. I'm done. I got to give me a drink right now.
Well, Anthony Weston asked you, and I'll let you, because we're right in your rim, I want you to handle a lot of these questions. Mm-hmm. He said, don't they have to pay the money back?
Yes. Yes, they do. So they buy them with their own money. They affront them the money, and later on, they got to come. They're gonna get an invoice for it. So you get bought with your own money.
With interest.
Sometimes, not really. Not really. Not really. Cause guess what? In a few months, you're gonna get paid anyway. You follow me? They bank. They just got to have you. These big companies, CAA, I shouldn't be calling their names out. These big companies, man, listen to me. When you hear these guys, I mean, you know, then I think about Derek Griffin. Then I think about, dude, hey, y'all. Y'all don't understand. I'll be on my knees praying about these guys, man. Y'all don't understand. I got a passion. That's one of the reasons I got in this business, because the two guys that mentored me in this business, they said, why are all of our guys, they're retiring and they ain't got no money? And 99% of them are represented by whites and Jews. The money going somewhere, but not back to this community. You get it money to me, Jimmy, I know I'm going to put it back in the community. I was laughing. Freight was kind of questioned because I told him even my yard guy is African-American. So get what I did? I went and took a picture of him out there working. Freight said, wow. All I'm saying is, listen to me. Y'all got to hear me good on this. The guys that I got around me and the guys that I work with, or the companies that I work with, they're good at what they do. Because I'm a believer, everybody your color ain't your kind. Everybody ain't good at what they do. Come on now. That's why you got all-stars, you got superstars, everybody ain't good. Some doctors just regular. Then you got some doctors that's great. You follow me? You got some event operators that's regular. But then you got one of the best in the world that happen to be black, the best in the country that happen to be black, right here on this show with you. And somebody even told me the other day, Jimmy, I got to tell you this. I'm at the Fort Bend tournament this weekend. I didn't mean to go here. And a guy took my magazine out your magazine out of my hand and looked at it and looked through it and said, man, do you know how much work this takes? I said, I don't know. I'm not in the magazine. He said, man, do you see each one of these pages? And what these pages, dude, he said, do you know how much work? He said, you tell that guy, great job. Y'all, we do have African Americans out here that know what the hell they're doing, people. Jeff Rubin, look him up. That's the guy that misinvested Quentin Porter's money. Then go look up the guy that misinvested T.O.'s money. And a couple of more guys I can't. Them guys, listen to me, y'all. Those guys they had a nest egg, Jimmy. Of course they was gambling. Yeah, MGM. See, that's what Jimmy, that's what they don't understand. And I'm going to help you out, mamas and daddies, because you don't see this. Jimmy, that gambling gets them a lot more than anything. Let me show you why. Jimmy, let's say you go and lose $2 million in the casino right now, okay? But Jimmy, it almost took you almost $4 million to make that $2 million to spend. You follow me? After taxes and all that kind of stuff, it almost took you 3-point-something million to get you to be able. But you're spending the $2 million in cash. But look how much it took you to make to be able to spend that money. That's happened. That's what happened to Allen Iverson. That's what happened to Antoine Walker. All I'm telling you, Jimmy, it can happen. So it's no reason for it to happen no more. What, you got another one? Got another question?
And another question is, somebody asked on the Boomer Room, does the NFL still offer the symposiums for the incoming rookies on financial management?
Yeah.
So that means that everyone is supplied with the same amount of intel when they walk through the door before they even put their chin straps on.
Yeah.
right?
Jimmy, all of us get information that we don't abide by. You, me, everybody on. So we can't sit back and be hypocrites. These guys got to be groomed, Jimmy. You got to understand these 21, 23-year-old kids, 22-year-old kids, that their bank account, they go look at their balance in the ATM and say, wow, Jimmy, they spend it. And see, Jimmy, now, hold up now. I can tell them what to do, but Jimmy, at the end, it's their money. I can't lock them up for spending their money, Jimmy. Is anybody gonna tell you how to spend your money?
And that goes. Well, shouldn't that go? Think about it, that's the underlying statement that nullifies everything else. At the end of the day, that's like it goes back and you say, well, it's the topic. I hear that one of the most prevalent angles that it came from in the past couple of decades was whenever that would be, and it's going to happen this year, every February, there's going to be a new pair of Michael Jordans released before the All-Star game. And people are going to line up, and in the past, people have gotten in tussles. Some people have gotten seriously injured and even killed behind their quest to purchase or steal Air Jordans. Well, a lot of people say those people are crazy. Why in the hell would you sit there and stand in line for all that for a pair of tennis shoes? And then eventually those people start striking back and say, well, hell, we ain't telling you. If you go to the mall on a Saturday, in the Galleria Mall, on any, I'm telling you, on a Saturday, at some point, the Gucci store or the Louis Vuitton store is going to only allow a certain amount of people in at a time. And there's going to be a line that will trickles out of the store. They're regulating traffic. They're controlling the basic elements of supply and demand. You ever been outside a nightclub, you saw a line, and the big guy, big bouncer, he's at the door and he regulating the line. You get inside, the place ain't even filled up. You ever been to a restaurant and you ask for a table? Then you look around, you go use the restroom, you look around, they got 20 tables open, but they're making you sit and told you it's going to be 30 minutes. That's regulating the principles of supply and demand. So what those young people are saying is buying Air Jordans now, they're questioning, which, you know, they're having the questions as well. Well, hell, we ain't telling you why are you going to stand in line to buy the Gucci?
But Jimmy, let me tell you something. And I understand that. But then you go and try to defraud the NFL and the other players. That was your money you were spending, but now you come and taking their money. Clint Portis. You done spent your money. Can't nobody tell you what to do, but now you come and try to take other people's money? Let me tell you something. These people out here now, you said it, somebody just mentioned the bread. I don't even know what the bread means. Y'all trying to get the bread Jordans, but I'm trying to get Jordan's bread. We not the same. Y'all trying to get, Jimmy, that's the new shoes, they call them bread. Be honest. I'm trying to get Jordan's bread. I ain't trying to. You catch me in a pound. What we could tell you? If you catch me on franchise team, put my feet in. You catch me trying to go and buy some of them. Put your feet in mine.
I can't think you gave him one name.
I know it. I should have said it. I'm sorry. It's all right. But no.
I mean, and that's the thing. So bottom line is that we can't. So listen, you can, but I'm trying to see how to reword this. People have a right, if they make their money, to do whatever the hell they want to do with it. If it's a fool who comes and becomes in a basket of money, then you know what's going. The old cliche and it was going to take place about a fool and his money will soon depart. It's going to happen. We know it. And I said like this. Understand, being the son of a school teacher, different principles was implied in all of us. But one of the things that I learned was that, and it goes back to it back in the old Now and Later days, the lemon heads, Boston baked beans. Back in those days when those candies was 10 cents a piece for a pack. Well, if you look at the spending habits of a young adolescent, when you give them that $1 for Christmas, and you go, or you're in the mall and you go, if you can look and they, come on, some things you get the signs. Some kids in your family, and my family too, you get asked $1, they finna go spend $1. They ain't gonna have to ask for the 8-cent tax. You give some of them $1, they ain't gonna spend it, they gonna keep it.
Jimmy.
And they gonna try to save it.
Jimmy, Otis Lanier just said something that I'm gonna let you read it, and then I'm gonna comment on it because I'll be talking to him. I'm gonna let you read what Otis Lanier Jr. just read.
Otis says, "Hey man, this is a business. Mm-hmm. Everyone makes good and bad business decisions. Lord knows I've made mine. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, after all of the smoke clears, it falls back on the players and their families for making bad decisions, on trusting the wrong people, especially when you can go and educate yourself on how to handle your finances." Hold on, let's bookmark that thought. The parents, go take finance courses, keep all the money in the house, get out there and learn the system, pay a little money for someone to teach you. Shaking my head. It ain't that easy, Otis.
It ain't that easy. Otis, your parent, Otis, parents are the number one culprit of a lot of these guys being broke. Antoine Walker mama had a $6.5 million house. She ain't shot a jump shot. I know that's his mama. Otis, that parent I don't know if you heard it later, that I just gave you the instance of a parent spending $5 million of this kid's money and he didn't know it. And I looked at, because I got him a new financial guy, and we looked at his book. It was $5 million, Otis, unaccounted for. Okay? $5 million. Mama, who handling the money? Who got that money, man? Mama, my mama. Dominique Wilkins, mama. I can go on and on and on and on. Otis, let me tell you something. When you dealing with these kind of finances that these guys getting, you just can't go take a class tomorrow. And you finna know where to put millions and millions and millions of dollars for your benefit that you can have later on in your life. Now, you can go stick it in the bank and let the bank work the hell out your money and let them get rich off your money. But it's a lot of other ways. What families need to do is,
what do you need to do?
Families need to become less dependent on these young men. Because I just talked about the financial planner. I didn't tell you about the mamas, because I don't want to put no mama's business out there. I'm just talking about the fact. So it's a whole lot of stuff going on. It's a whole dynamic, Otis. And Jimmy said it's not that easy. He ain't lying. It's not that easy, baby. It's not that easy. Them parents think that money is theirs, especially the mamas. I hate to say that. It's my baby. I took him to practice. I'm in that hot sun. I cooked his meals. That's my baby. Okay. See you tomorrow.
And
okay.
And so you're gonna see tomorrow. Now we're gonna shift gears, guys, and don't feel free. Of course, this is a great time to share the show with your timelines or with some of your friends, so they can get some of this. And this is one of the things that the Chop Shop provides, a platform to where we can help you guys to be able to help somebody else.
Yeah.
And guess what? We all understand you can't really make a person do what you want them to do with their money.
You got to groom them, Jimmy. That's all.
But at the same time, if you can get to them before they get the money, and you can program them at that time.
Yeah, you got to groom them.
And that's all you could do. That's at this point.
Yeah.
So now
That's good.
we shift gears. We go over to some NCAA news, and of course, this past weekend we're gonna talk U of H and Oklahoma State. We're gonna talk the new Associated Press. Right? What you doing? What?
No, I'm just trying to put some. I'm just trying to put up something up there so you can see it. That's all. Keep going.
That's the team that's still not in the top 10. That's all I'm gonna let you know. The Associated Press poll has just come out. And although the Memphis Tigers beat Tennessee on the road this past weekend, they still only went up 2 slots.
It's all right.
They're number 11.
And guess why, Jimmy? Jimmy, we could have been 10th if we had to beat Oregon. James Wiseman got 2 quick fouls in Oregon and couldn't jump us over Oregon because they beat us. But that's all right. Guess what? Help is coming. I know you don't like it. I like your school, but I know you can't help. Boy, I know you can't help it, Jimmy. Jimmy, one of these days. Hold up, y'all. You know what they used to say? Oh, he getting the guy. Penny getting the guy. But now he got to coach him. He can't talk. He can't talk like that. He can't talk like that, the boss man. He can't talk. Jimmy, I done heard, not just you, I done heard it from all y'all. Well, Walter Yates, talking about, yeah. They fired Tubby. They fired Tubby to hire Penny. Let me tell y'all something, man. That young man is prepared to lead men. I tell y'all, never forget what I told him. I said, dude, if they look at you like you just a basketball coach, you're missing the boat. Those people got to know you are a leader of men. And that's what that young man is doing. Let me tell you something. I take my hat off. He's an African-American coach. Happened to be a kid that I knew since he was a young kid. And guess what? I'm blessed to know and say that I know him now. And I'm blessed to say this university is striving. Yet I don't care about the top 10. I'm just glad somebody. I just wanted to be Tennessee. That's on the other side of the state. Memphis is on this side of the state. They on the other side of the state. They on the hillbilly side of the state, Jimmy. So of course I am happy and for that win, a big win without 2 of their, like Jimmy, you just said it the other day. Well, they done lost 2 of their pieces. Lester Quinones and James Wiseman, they done lost them. What they gonna do now? Go into Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, and beat a team that haven't lost there in 31 games. Thanks for that information, Jimmy. In 31 games. Hey, shout out to Penny Hardaway, Mike Miller, Tony Madlock, and Cody Toppert, that crew over there, Ronnie Hamilton, that crew over there, Dwight Boykins, the crew at Memphis, University of Memphis. Hey, I'm so proud of them. Now,
you said Ronnie Hamilton.
Yeah, no, Rodney Hamilton. Rodney Hamilton.
Okay,
not Ronnie. Ronnie is the coach of one of the teams we beat the snot out of at Ole Miss. That's Ronnie. Rodney Hamilton. That's
Now speaking of the AP rankings, Baylor, as I projected last week, I said Baylor will be in the top 10, and indeed they are. They jump up 1 spot to number 10 in the newly released Associated Press college men's basketball rankings. Kansas stays at number 1. Gonzaga jumps up 4 slots to the number 2. Louisville drops to number 3. Duke goes up 3 slots to number 4. Ohio State is at number 5. They were number 3 last week. Kentucky is at 6, followed by Maryland, Oregon, Virginia, and I mentioned earlier, Baylor is indeed in the top 10. So what does that mean? I'll tell you in a second what that means, but also want to give a shout out to Texas Tech. Texas Tech went and pulled off a big win when they upset Louisville last week.
Yes.
And have been rewarded with a slot in the top 25. Texas Tech is now number 24 on the AP poll. That gives the great state of Texas 2 teams now that are listed in the top 25. Now back to this Baylor thing. Baylor picked up a good win last week over Butler at home. Right? So that was Tuesday, I think.
Yeah,
Baylor beat
great
Butler.
win. Great win.
Right? So then Butler jumps up one slot. Butler had been undefeated before then.
So they lost and went up?
They lost to Baylor and went up in the rankings from number 18 to number 17. I'm bringing this something, just think about it and pay attention.
Okay.
Memphis beat Tennessee, right? Memphis was ranked at number 13. Tennessee dropped 2 slots, which is fitting, according. You know, you lost at home, you dropped 2 slots. Why the hell Butler went up 1 slot during they lost? I understand it was on the road, but they're not the first team that's ranked to go on the road and lose by 1 possession.
What was Butler ranked, Jimmy?
Number 18.
They were ranked 18 and they moved up to what?
And they moved up to number 17.
Okay. Okay.
Why did they?
Jimmy, cause I don't know what they go by, Jimmy. Cause maybe it's the body of work. I don't know the conference. I don't know. You know, I don't know what these people be thinking about.
Now speaking of course, also on yesterday, we're talking college basketball right now, guys, and University of Houston was at home yesterday against Oklahoma State, guys. And U of H got it was competitive. I think it was the final score, I want to say, was 61-55, right? U of H falls to Oklahoma State. OSU was the favorite coming into this game, meaning they should have won. So it wasn't no surprise on that, wasn't an upset. But what did?
Wait a minute. Why wasn't it an upset at home?
Oklahoma State, I'm saying this wasn't an upset. It wasn't like Oklahoma State was expected to beat University of Houston.
Do you remember the line?
I don't remember the line on that college game, on that particular game. But you know, it wasn't like, and I don't know who in their right mind would have been laying money down on that game as in the first place. But Oklahoma State, remember now, they came in the game at 7-2. U of H,
but they lost their best player.
U of H was 6-2 going into the game.
Yeah, Oklahoma State's best player wasn't there.
But still, if you look at U of H, had been struggling they struggled to TKO Texas State. They kind of struggled with UT Arlington. So if you playing guys that are UT Arlington and Texas State has maybe on each one of those teams combined probably have about, maybe I'm gonna give you, coming out of high school, maybe three stars combined.
Okay.
That's based on the makeup of the talent of the team. Oklahoma State probably has about 6 3 stars, maybe 1 or 2 4 stars.
Okay.
That team would be expecting. University of Houston has a team. I'm gonna go and look one day when I get some time this week to find just how many, what their recruitment was like on a national scale as far as what they were deemed as on the star system that is used by ESPN and Rob.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna tell you, for the most part, it's an opinion, but they put a lot into it. And those star things, of course, you're gonna think of several guys that make it that wasn't a 5-star or 4-star. Yes, because some people get better. But for the most part, that system is pretty solid. It's not foolproof, but it's solid.
Okay, yeah.
So Oklahoma State, here's what the thing that wooed people was the fact that
the dude with two fingers missing was tearing their head off too.
You know, you talking about that dude fingers?
No, they talked about it on the show. When he was young, he got 2 of them messed up in the grinder. I mean, in a blender. Yeah, but U of H didn't know it. But keep going.
So now, here's the thing. Quentin Grimes, I'll read you this stat line. 0 for 7 from the field, including 0 for 5 from three-point land. He only went and attempted one free throw. He missed that. He had no assists, no blocks, 1 steal, 3 rebounds, and 0 points in 34 minutes. It's Quentin Grimes.
I had him down for 33 minutes.
Well, they rounded it off.
I'm messing with you. Yeah. I'm messing with you. Come on.
And also,
you see what Fob said that U of H was a minus 7.
So U of H gave up 7?
He said it was a minus 7. You know, I don't keep up with that stuff.
U of H gave up 7 to OSU. Y'all should have called me before that game. Ain't no way in the hell did that on paper. But remember, the lines are driven by the money laid on them, you know, and in a lot of cases. So that means
that means they were the underdog. He said minus 7. Minus 7 mean what, Jim? You the gambler?
If you a plus.
No, it said minus 7.
If I'm saying you a plus, that means you and the points. If I'm saying you a minus, that means you giving up the points.
Oh, so U of H was the dog. I mean, they was the overdog.
I hope that's interpreted wrong.
It's right here. He just sent it to us. Bob just sent us the information to our text.
I'm going to look in a second. But what I was saying about these stats. Also, Jerome, 18 minutes, 0 for 4 from the field, including 0 for 1 from three-point lane, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 steals, 0 block, 4 turnovers, 0 points. So between Grimes and Jerome, they combined to not score a single point, guys. They combined to only attempt 1 free throw, guys.
Jimmy, can I add something here?
What's that?
Those are the 2 guys that supposed to say they go be pros. But keep going. I just want, because they told me Jerome was just going to be his last year. So that was what they said, you know, in the summer. So keep going. Keep going. And they got a chance to recover now, but keep going.
Here's the thing. One thing with University of Houston, and I've said this, and here's the thing. Quentin Grimes, former McDonald's All-American. He had 8 points against Oregon. He had 0 points against Oklahoma State. Right?
Oh, the good teams.
Right?
Gotcha.
And they understand, U of H hadn't played. They barely, what I said, they're 6-3. They haven't even played 10 games yet. So in 9 games, they've only played 2 teams from Power 5. Well, South Carolina, forgot about them. South Carolina's a Power 5 team. But, you know, so Quentin Grimes scored 24 against them. But this South Carolina team coming in to the U of H game, they were threading 500, and U of H coulda, and shoulda beat them. So if you want to put your hat on South Carolina as a defense, then so be it. But I'm looking at Oregon was a big game that was televised. Oklahoma State was your first home opponent from a Power 5 conference. And you laid a goose egg. Let me tell you what this means. I spoke with an NBA scout last night and after the game. We went to dinner when I got back in town from a wonderful weekend. And first thing I asked, that scout went to the U of H game. I said, well, how did this happen? They say the first shot that Quentin Grimes took was a 3-pointer that went way over the rim. That's what he told me. He said the best thing this kid can do right now He said, unless he can lead U of H to the Final Four, is to go and prepare to come on back the following year and go as far as he can with the amateur level before coming out. This team is going to have a lotto ball that the NBA squad I talked to you yesterday.
I know who you're talking about.
They say they damn sure ain't picking him at all. Say they're going to pick the best player available. Some people are looking for positions, but they're looking for the best player available. And that's how a lot of teams, I asked them, I said, what is that? I said, no, a lot of teams are thinking like that now because you're getting an asset. You're taking a gamble when you go with a player.
Right, because they might not play their first couple of years anyway.
Exactly. You get an asset, the best player available. And what I'm saying again, here's the thing when I say about consistency. And what happens people is people go and don't and want to forget the misses, want to forget the bad games. And they want you to forget them too. When it comes to that measuring them, they want you to forget them. But in the same breath, it's hard to until you go and you supersede that with an abundance of success, of dominating performances against top shelf competition. Quentin Grimes was a 5-star coming out of high school. If you're playing against Alabama A&M, that whole team, or Alabama State, that entire team was maybe 1 star. Two at the best. They might have 2 stars, and they'd be transfers from somewhere else. So a 5-star is playing against opposite a 2-star, and they're the same age, same classification. For the most part, what do you expect is supposed to happen? He's supposed to do better or outdo that guy initially. Now, 4 years out because at the same time, this is based on their trajectory. They put that into them stars as well. They put trajectory into that. Mm-hmm. So that means this guy's supposed to do this against this.
But Jimmy,
so that means
Jimmy, maybe they just missed, Jimmy. You remember they just missed on him.
What missed on who?
You can't on Quentin Grimes.
I don't think they did.
You can't measure heart.
Well, oh, you mean the people who put the stars on it?
Yeah, the star people. Because you see, 5-star mean you got a chance to be a pro. He had a chance though because
USA basketball factors into the stars as well. If you make the team for USA basketball, you get a certain anointment into the star system. He won a gold medal.
Jimmy,
he was
talented.
MVP.
I watched the game. I watched the game again on tape, so I can see.
I watched it at all.
I watched it again, and then I watched it. I turned the sound off. Okay? I turned the sound off. He act like Jimmy, he wasn't there yesterday. He didn't use what you say is no such thing as a bad game in a big game. Mm-hmm. This guy, he just and I'm listen, Quentin Grimes, people out there, I love his talent. I love his size. I love his strength. But it seemed like he had something else other than basketball going on in his mind. Jimmy, I saw him get beat backdoor. That's what freshmen get pulled out of games for. This man got beat backdoor, an easy backdoor. See-man, see-ball situation. Something was, no excuse, because, y'all tear his head off. We got a group text, I ain't going to tell you, but people was tearing his head off and said, man, the hype, I like him as a player, but it's something he missing, that he might have to go to the Wizard and get, if you know what I mean.
Man, guess what? Bottom line with this, I don't want to hear nothing about no Quentin Grimes until we get to Memphis. Memphis is because that's the next time that University of Houston. I'm looking at the schedule. They play, yeah. That's it. Wichita State on the 18th, right?
Kerry just asked an interesting question. Kerry, do I think someone is in his ear? Every player of that type of magnitude, you've noticed Jimmy gave him his accolades. McDonald All-American, USA Basketball, 5-star. Somebody's in his ear, and
Adidas Nation.
Adidas Nation was on one of the signs at Adidas Nation. It's just, something, y'all have to see it again and watch it when the sound is off. He act like, man, I'm really want to be somewhere else right now, and it's not on a basketball court. And you can't be a pro on a big game on ESPN. That wasn't on ESPN 2 or ESPN 3. That was on ESPN. And you just can't lay a goose egg like that, man. You didn't even knock nobody down. You didn't try. I mean, gosh.
Dude, it was a goose egg.
Jimmy, I know he didn't score, but he didn't do shit nothing else.
That a total goose egg and an L. Listen, man. Listen. I said Memphis. Memphis is February the 22nd. That's too far away. So there's one, and here's the thing. There's one game that takes place before that will have a lot of significance to it. But even in that game, on the national scale of things, this will be some domestic stuff that's happened on January the 15th. January the 15th, 8 p.m. at the Fertitta Center. Because that's going to be personal. But won't move the needle for no NBA scout. Remember this. Only on the personal level. Oh. That's because U of H will be playing SMU. Kendrick Davis comes home. That's part. I'm saying. Now for Houston, that crowd is going to be on point. SMU, that's a conference game, and mind you, Kendrick Davis and Quentin Grimes, the last time they matched up was at the Campbell Center going into their senior season when they both provided a very entertaining game, both live up to the hype. Kendrick Davis' team won. Quentin Grimes scored more. Neither one of them, both of them had 33 and 29 points respectively. But even if Quentin Grimes outduels Kendrick Davis wasn't a 5-star.
Yeah.
Kendrick Davis wasn't ranked in the top 100 in his class.
So I ain't even worried about that.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I want to put this. I'm giving you the guys the disclaimer to understand. That's the same as TSU playing PB.
Jim.
That's for bragging rights. Jim. That has no bearing on the SWAC championship. That's what this game is going to be.
Jimmy, I know because you said you didn't see the game. But Jimmy, I'm telling you, I watched that game on tape 3 times, back and forth. One time with the sound, one time half and half, then one time with no sound. That kid seemed like, Jimmy, and I'm not making no excuse for you. This kid did not compete at all. That's why I said something else had to be. Either he was scared of somebody over there, scared of the big turn, or it's 3 things can get an athlete. I told you this a long time ago. Girls, drugs, and alcohol. Them 3 things there, the athlete, basketball players.
Fifth Ward Boys made a song about that. They call it something else, though.
Okay.
Now they call it PWA.
Oh, okay. I like that. But
you want to sing it?
No. I can't. Come on, man. I'm a man of the cloth. Hey, Jimmy, I watched him, Jimmy. I promise you. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go look at him again. Y'all got to understand, I like Quentin Grimes, but I was disappointed in him yesterday. You know, the build up for the game, Jimmy, if you listen to the commentator, Fran Fraschilla sucked him off so good. I mean, talking about, oh, he done left Kansas, bad situation, came over here to a perfect situation. And you go out there and get he didn't compete. It's Jimmy, I promise you. It was like if I was assistant coach, y'all would have been talking to me crazy. Y'all would have, because I'd have called him all kind of things. But he had to know I love him first. But I would have called him all kind of stuff that he just didn't compete. He didn't compete. And it's unbelievable that you have a stage like that, knowing all your critics are here. You saying you were a one and done dude. It was dudes went on record and said, man, he ain't gonna make it. We'll see you in New York. Jimmy, kid didn't compete. And I know you're looking at the stats because you're the stat man. But I always remember Robert Hatter got to go see it himself.
Well, one thing about it,
stats don't lie.
Did not compete. Think about it. And it still was a 2-possession outcome.
Yes.
Both of those with your starting guards, arguably your two best pro prospects, because that's coming from an NBA scout. The two best pro prospects both laid a goose egg in front of NBA personnel.
Who was the other?
Jerome.
Oh, yeah, because they said he was. Yeah, I'm telling you, he said. Okay.
Your best pro prospect.
Gotcha.
And guess what? This wasn't just the NBA scout. The assistant GM flew in to that game as well. It might not seem like much to y'all, and they'll just say, well, you know what? Here's how this go. Certain scouts, they're allies with each other. And certain, there are a lot of scouts in the NBA ranks. They talk to each other
all the time,
and they exchange thoughts because they know how the business is. And a lot of guys, because guess what? If I got the pick, I can't help you. You're gonna get him anyway if you like him. Certain guys, they know that certain teams know they're not gonna get. For example, if the Houston Rockets, their lead scout is B.J. Johnson. If B.J. has intel on James Wiseman, it ain't nothing the Rockets can do to get James Wiseman except for trading and moving all the way up in the trade. They're not going to be in the lottery. You see what I mean? So you can share intel on what you saw if you was there to one of your colleagues. Not to everybody, but if the guy is your boy. There are a lot of guys that's friends that got jobs. So my point is, a performance like that, an assistant GM is right there watching as well. That team, they saw you. They don't want you. Now you might say, well, we don't forget them. Well, how do you know that team ain't allies with 4 other teams in the league?
Dude, he done told everybody, dude. I know how they work. They talk to us. So you know they gonna talk to their other dude. They be around all the time.
People don't realize that. Because you know they think, man, you know what? All it takes is one. You thinking that the school, and guess what? There was a team. There was an NBA team. I did confirm that liked Quentin Grimes a whole lot when he got to Kansas. They liked him. Remember now, they liked him a whole lot when he got to Kansas. They liked him while he was in the middle of the season. To the point where they told him, you know what, you go on and drop, we'll bring you in for a workout. Now, by the time they got to the end of the season, Quentin Grimes went to the Chicago pre-draft. Looked good that first game, and then leveled on off the rest of those games. That team was gone. They probably didn't answer the phone no more. So then Quentin Grimes comes back to college. That scholarship that he had at Kansas, know what they did? They gave it away. they gave his scholarship away because that's on a loophole in the rule when the NCAA allowed these young men to go and stay out longer and to come back. Those colleges say it's holding us hostage.
Jim, they had gave that scholarship away for he.
Oh yeah.
I guess it's gonna be real. I know you're trying to be technical.
We know that, but on paper, they waited and it was that scholarship was gone, and that was one of the reasons that helped to gain Quentin Grimes eligibility. Was that guy was one of the reasons, because when it was noted on the dates that the scholarship was gone, it was no home for him to come back to at Kansas. Even though he wasn't going back to Kansas anyway, they didn't want him back.
Right.
So it's one of those divorces where you can say, I didn't want to go home, and another person say, well, we didn't want you at home. So everybody happy. So right now, my thing is the expectations that come on your jack when you have been deemed a McDonald's All-American. With that being said, the McDonald's game for 2020 will be held in Houston, has been granted to Houston, Texas, for the boys and girls. I think it's bittersweet. Sweet because the boys' side, we're going to get 2 for sure from out of the state of Texas with a possible. If we bidding books and spade, 2 in the possible. If my spade partner pretty good, if it ain't Helen, somebody else would play spade, anybody but him. But I'm going to bid 3 books on this hand right now. Hell, I might bid 4. But 2 in the possible. The 2 would be Cade Cunningham, Greg Brown, or the 2 pretty much locks.
Who that possible? Who that possible?
The possible would be Michael Peavy from Duncanville. That's the possible. Remember, 2 in a possible. 2 in a possible. It's a possible. He's a queen. Not a queen. I'm talking about in the deck of cards. If I'm bidding books, not calling the kid. So I'm using an analogy about cards, bidding books. That's 2 aces. I'm them 2 books. I'm bidding 2 aces and I got a queen. So now on the girls' side, I reached out this morning, thanks to my man Trey Phillips, and I say, Trey, do we got any action on the girls' side of any girl from H-Town getting in the McDonald's game? He say, man, it don't look good. I said, what you mean don't look good, Trey? He say, our highest ranked kid from out of Houston goes to West Side High School. Big girl about 6'3", right? I think her last name Fosha, something like that. 6'3". She averages about 13 points a game, 15 rebounds a game, but the team is about 500. 13 and 15. That's good. But that ain't McDonald's All-American for a team that's not one of the top 10, 20 teams in your own city. So that's our highest ranked girl in the nation is like number 54, according to ESPN Hoop Girls. Follow me now. So it's possible that we would have the McDonald's game. Now we're gonna get some girls out of the state now. Don't get it twisted. It's gonna be about 4 or 5 girls at least. Trey, how many girls we got? You guys watching Chuck McCowan that follow the girls scene? How many? What's the over and under on the girls that will be selected or may be selected in the McDonald's All-American game? That will be April the 2nd in Houston. I think it's April the 2nd. It's that Wednesday. The first Wednesday in April. Put it like that. What's the over and under on the girls that you guys, and I see Todd Holmes said 3 Texas girls. 3 Texas girls. Name those 3 Texas girls for us, guys. Give them some ink on the chop shop. Give them some ink. Chuck McCown say 3 to 4. So he said 3 in the possible. So it's on the girls, 3 in the possible. On the boys, I'm saying 2 in the possible. So that ain't bad, but none from Houston.
Houston, so we got to get our weight up, baby.
Out of those girls, how many of those girls from Dallas? You see where I'm going with this? How many of those girls from Dallas? I really want to know about how many of those three locks, how many from Dallas? Now, 2021, we know. I seen the girl at Side Creek High School, and both of them maybe.
You talking about my little niece?
That's a whole other year away.
You talking about my little niece?
Yeah.
Kendall.
So there we go. Oh, he's saying 2021. I'm reading Chuck McCown. So we know Deja Kelly is going to be a lock from Duncanville High School. Deja's a lock. Sarah Andrews, right, is a lock. I think, and Hannah is the big girl, right? That's the tall girl, used to be at Duncanville, and she transferred and left the school last year. Got the coach fired. Hannah, you remember that? You remember that? It was made national
I remember
news.
the coach getting fired.
Gave the coach up, right? So guess what? If you had 3 girls that's locked from DFW, 2 boys, one of them is a lock, the other one is a possible, and the third one played with a DFW summer team, Greg Brown, then why the hell the game is in Houston? Why that game in Dallas? Especially on the heels of what just happened. What just happened?
Whoa. You the high school basketball guru. They came down here for you.
You got I just can't believe, because you know what? I'm afraid.
Dude, they came down here for you, Pimp.
I'm afraid because the atmosphere may not yield the type of crowd that would be needed to sustain that game and keep it multiple years. Remember this Chicago, they had 3 or 4 guys that came through that represented the city that got selected in Chicago. So that means they had something to root for.
Man, these folks ain't had nothing like that in a long time. Houston gonna support that. I think they'll support it.
I'm hoping. So speaking of Houston supporting that, then it's reason to get out this weekend, right?
What we got this weekend?
And support, this week on Wednesday, and support Rossi Karen with the Battleground.
Oh, that's Wednesday.
That's Wednesday night.
Yes.
Oregon State at UTSA is at 4:30. Utah State at South Florida is at 6:45. And Baylor, the number 10 ranked team in the country, a top 10 team in the country, will be in Houston, the Baylor Bears, on Wednesday. They play at 9 o'clock against UT Martin. That's a triple header, $15. That's $5 a game for a college game. More importantly, Rossi Karen is an African American who's venturing off on hope and following a dream, a vision to go and do a college triple header. He's the first African American in the United States of America to put together a triple header on a regular season Division I game. You have a chance to help create history by being in attendance. For everybody out there that's talking that support our people, so go and support black business, and everybody that hoorah, this is a chance to dance if you live in Houston. It's a chance to dance. What's going on Wednesday? They showing reruns on TV. It's the rerun season. So why not go and support? If you don't know, sure, you might not care about Utah State or South Florida. Well, but guess what? UTSA, they have Houston kids or Texas kids on their roster. Baylor, they recruit the area. They recruit the state. Put it like this. Baylor is the only school in the country that's in the Power 5 conference that has 2 assistant coaches from Houston. 2 from Houston high schools, assistant coaches, African American, on the same staff. That's what Baylor has. That's Jerome Tang and Alvin Brooks III. So this is a reason to get out and support on Wednesday. On Friday and Saturday, once again, before I get to it, your support, that's at the Toyota Center. That's going to be the same site host of the McDonald's game. Hatter, let me tell you something. LeBron James Jr. ain't playing in the McDonald's game. He's in the 9th grade. He's ineligible for this. It has to be something captivating. Most people that attend is family. Your families are going to be there, but that local audience, they rely heavily it would take at least 10,000 people that's from Houston that don't have no ties to the game to want to buy a ticket. Because the other 5,000 or 6,000 is going to be from the boys and girls side for people that's families and friends of the people that's playing. Do you think 10,000 people going to buy a ticket to the McDonald's game this year with no player from Houston playing in it? Boy or girl? I got to see it to believe it. It's possible. It's possible. Got to see it to believe it. Meanwhile, guys, don't forget, get out there and make sure you share the show with your timelines and your friends. Make sure you also this weekend, the Christmas crossover is taking place at University of St. Thomas. You can get the schedules on rcssports.com. 6 games on the first day, 5 games on the second day, which is Friday and Saturday. Both days tip off at 12 noon. So you sleep late, come and watch some ball and support. We got some pretty good matchups based on what we have to deal with and based on the season, how they've transpired. How about Nederland, the little young kid, Hayden Hefner, who signed with Texas A&M? He hadn't played all year. It just came back last week. It's a chance for Houston to get the chance to see this white kid who's supposed to be deemed as the best white kid in Houston or in Greater Houston. Let's see, and this is what it is. It's a chance to let you see what he has to work with, right? You got what I'm saying, Houston Christian, who picked up some good wins this past weekend, playing against University Academy. You got how about JBL Francis going against Ashton Smith? Whose Nimitz ain't busted grape all year, but this is Ashton Smith holds an offer from U of H. Javier is leading the state in block shots. This young man, this man averaging 6 block shots a game. The best defensive big man in the area.
You ain't got to tell me.
So that way now it keeps it off. See how the difference how you market something? Tell you guys about marketing. I didn't market Javier as the best big guy in the state. He's the best defensive big guy in the state. The best defensive big in the state. He's averaging six blocks a game.
So who they playing this weekend?
They playing Nimitz with the kid Ashton Smith. That's going to be a good matchup on Friday. How about North Shore at Martin Ranch? North Shore made it to the championship game of the Fort Bend tournament, got the snot beat out of them. But they made it to the championship game, right? And they only lost like 2 games all year. This North Shore team. They playing Martin Ranch. And speaking of it, on tomorrow we'll recap a lot of the Fort Bend tournament and the Cypress tournament, and we'll get some intel from Big Doug Jones on tomorrow. So a lot of you guys looking for that fix, that'll come on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right? And Dickinson will be playing Woodlands Christian on Friday as well. Woodlands Christian.
Who they got?
They got Bakari Strap. They got the big kid, Big EJ Jones. They got little Austin Belink. They got little Austin. They got also they got Son Chance.
Yeah.
But that team lost 2 games, about 2 or 3, 4 games all year, and they won about 14. And this Woodlands Christian team, once again, that's a good matchup for Dickinson. Dickinson came in second place in the Cypress tournament. Once again, we'll talk about them on tomorrow.
Yeah, we got to talk about that because I didn't see none of that stuff. I wanted to see what happened. But
and of course, Hightower, I mentioned the North Shore, lost to Hightower in the championship. Hightower, Bryce Griggs, I don't know if they gave MVP, but in that tournament, but MVP 24 points in the semifinals, 21 points in the championship game.
14 assists too.
And the W's as Hightower ran the table. See, once again, like I say, I got a good conversation for that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because here's how you tell if people are down with you. All you got to do is watch and pay attention to what they're saying when you're winning. That's the Quentin Grimes theory. All you Quentin Grimes, don't y'all realize now? People that come
what you mean? Help us out. We're going to end with this. Pay attention to what they say when you're winning?
Yes.
help us out. Give us a for instance.
Because when you lose, you ain't even got to pay attention. They're going to make sure you hear them when you lose. They're going to do something to get your attention. When you lose, they you don't get a text message. Don't you get a text message when certain teams win or lose out? Certain players? Don't you get a text message coming from somewhere else?
Oh, when they lose, I don't get it when they win.
So you ain't got to pay attention when they lose. So pay attention to what they say when you're winning. That's the
Jimmy, it been some crickets. So silence mean they saying something?
Silence says it all. It says it
all. I got something for you then.
So I got something for you then. Guys, it's that time.
Oh, the starting five. Jimmy, hold up. Thank you. Let me give you a starting five. Lionel Garr, Derek Johnson, Rick Brown, Corey Willis, and Chris O'Neal. You didn't make it today, Todd. Todd Holmes, you didn't make it today. Your name didn't pop up before those guys. But, Jimmy, that's very, very interesting. I can't wait till tomorrow. Go and shut us down, baby.
Yeah, man. And so thanks so much, guys. Make sure you share the show if you hadn't done so already. And we appreciate everybody for a lot of the good comments. I'm going to go back and answer a couple of questions that was recent right there on the timeline. And you can, too. When you actually can go, when you rewatch the show, you can go back and reply to comments that you missed earlier or somebody and continue and keep the conversations going. And guess what? He got that little T-shirt he got on. Boy, I tell you, man. Oh, bless his soul. But anyway, guys, thanks so much. Homeboy Robert Hatter, this Jim Hicks, man. See you guys in 22 hours. I'm up out of here, man. Peace. Chop, chop.
All right. Let me play y'all a song, y'all. Get us out of here.
Jim Hicks. Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop.